Hi there, and thanks again for watching one of these great videos. This is about people's life change and the transformations they have in their life. And today I have got the wonderful Julie Kirby. Now Julie's been kind enough to give up her afternoon today to discuss in detail really how much her life's changed over the last few years, how it's changed, her journey and where she is now. So without any more further ado, let's bring in Julie. Hello, Julie.
Hello, Stephen.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thanks for coming today.
You're very welcome.
And so we're obviously going to talk a little bit about what you've been doing over the last few years, the work that you've done, how your life's progressed, how it's changed, and ultimately where you are now and the benefits that you've actually gained from doing the transformational work and the work that we've done together.
Yeah.
So I suppose really, first of all, let's find out a little bit more about Julie. So do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and you know, and what you've done in the past. So let's find out a little bit about Julie.
Okay, so I'm Julie. I'm 50 something, and I am a mum of two kids and 4 cats. And no, I'm not a crazy cat woman. I am predominantly a mum and also run 2 businesses. One is a gardening maintenance business called My Lady Gardener, and then I recently acquired another business which is called Triffid Nurseries, and I grow and sell coniferous plants.
So tell us a little bit more in detail what that actually is. So
the second one?
Yeah, the second one. So obviously Julie is my gardener, and Julie's been my gardener for several years, and this is sort of one of the reasons why we've been able to do this work together. But so Julie's a great gardener, and she's done stuff for my mum as well. But you decided to purchase a brand new business and branch out a little bit more.
I did.
And so tell us sort of what inspired you to do that, and actually what the actual products and the plants are.
Okay,
so it is very interesting.
I enjoy the gardening, but after last summer it was really hot. We weren't as busy as we should have been, so suffered a bit financially, but also as I'm getting older, the gardening's getting a bit harder.
Yeah.
I'm getting more tired, and I fancy a change. Doing this work has made me realise change or nothing will change.
Yeah,
so
change or nothing will change.
I just kept looking on sort of business selling pages, and this business came up. So it's a business that was based in Suffolk. It's coniferous plants, so the guy was growing them and selling them, and it was just a general all-round coniferous plant nerd really. So I've taken that over.
Great. So what are actually coniferous plants? So what
they are plants. Actually, I've got one in the box. Would you like to look?
Yeah, come on, let's have a look.
Yeah, that's a gift for you.
Oh, thank you very much. So they're like the ones that catch the flies and eat the
Venus flytraps is the most popular one. There's picture plants or Sarracena.
Oh wow.
They basically eat insects.
Oh wow. So this is what this, and this will grow into. This will grow. I'd imagine it will grow into something like this.
Something like that. There's different types, so they all get different sizes.
Yeah.
And they just basically live off eating insects. In bog, they have to be in bog conditions.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
And this is what, for the house and the home, or?
They can be in the house, but they don't like too much heat or anything. So they're quite good out in the garden.
Yeah.
Or on your patio, conservatory.
Yeah, I imagine it's a great gift for somebody as well. Something quite unique as well.
Yeah.
So.
And they're fascinating. They're like the mechanics of these plants is just incredible. They've grown and adapted to their conditions so that they can survive basically, because they're in bog with not much sun sometimes, but it's very cold. So they have survived to eat, and they eat insects for their nutrition. So yeah, if you get in there, have a look at the mechanics of it.
Yeah, interesting. And so this is your new business. You've only just started up.
I bought it last September. It's been a massive learning curve. We've had to move twice, but we're settled now.
Yeah.
And so now I've just got to get to learn the plants, get the website up and running, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you, I helped Julie collect the plants from Suffolk. She asked me for my help, so I lent my services for one day to drive a van to pick these huge loads of plants up, put them in the van and bring them back to Chelmsford. And about 30 minutes into my journey on the A12, I had in the hire van, I had a massive blowout in the tyre. And basically, I was stuck on the A12 for 3.5 hours,
Yeah.
and it literally blew out. The whole thing just completely blew out halfway through the journey. So, not the greatest days, but so I mean, there's lots of plants there, and all different, and it's really interesting. And like I said, there'll be a really good gift. So keep an eye. Have you got a website for it?
Yeah, it's just Triffid Nurseries. If you Google Triffid Nurseries, it comes up Suffolk, but it's not in Suffolk anymore. It's in Essex. And then you just email me, and then I can sort plants out for you.
Excellent. Okay, good. So I guess really we'll move on to the why we started working together. So I've seen Julie change massively from the Julie that I met several years ago, which we'll get onto and how we met. And obviously over these last few years, I've seen you just grow and develop and change and grow and develop like every single person does. But so let's ask really, what was your problems initially, and why did you undertake personal development and the healing work and to actually change what was going on for you? Where were you at, and what was causing you your problems?
I think I stumbled upon it accidentally, really, because I always thought this was a bit like, hippies and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work, but the more I learnt about it, the more I realised that there is something in it, and it does actually work. So it's been a learning curve, really, but I was just stuck. Life was kind of like this big cycle of stress and not achieving anything that I really wanted to achieve. I wasn't sure who I was. I kind of lost myself.
Yeah.
I had no aim. So it was just, you're on like this hamster wheel, if you like, and you're just getting tireder and tireder.
Yeah, and you're waiting for things to change, and
nothing
you're
will
waiting for God
change.
to wake up, and God's made all these changes in your life,
Yeah.
and tomorrow it's going to happen, and it never does.
Or Prince Charming might come along and save me.
Yeah, people
That's
get
not gonna
rescued.
happen, is it?
I did.
Oh yeah.
But so I guess that's where you were, and so you obviously you've obviously got children, so you've obviously had some failed relationships, and were you struggling in that area as well?
Yeah, everything was struggling. So I think because I didn't have much time to give to relationships properly, plus I had self-sabotage running.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of stuff running, but self-sabotage, anything good that came my way, I kind of went out my way to spoil it.
Yeah, to destroy it, push it away.
Yeah, and then I also was tired all the time, like mentally and physically exhausted, which was really overwhelming. So therefore you can't have clarity of thought because you're too tired, and you don't want to put effort into anything because you're too tired. You couldn't sleep because you're worrying about everything all the time.
Yeah.
And over-analysing everything.
Yeah, so I'd imagine at that time you were life weren't really very good.
No, like I say, it was just
pretty naff.
just rinse repeat type of life, which is not very fulfilling, not getting anywhere, and couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And not inspiring to anyone really.
Yeah.
Particularly my kids.
Yeah, great. So I would then ask the next question was, what were the specific pain points? Where was it affecting you in your life?
I think it was my passion for life was waning, if not gone. So I was just repeating all the bad
like being
behaviour.
robot mode.
Yeah, exactly that. I was a robot. So I was brought up to believe that this is what you had to do as a mum, housewife, lover, wife, whatever. But it wasn't actually what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that whole time, like this thing that I'm supposed to be doing, but this thing that I want to be doing. So that was a struggle.
So there was a conflict from your upbringing and what you've been programmed and taught that a woman should be and show up in the world, against who you truly really were and what you wanted to be in the world, and that was the problem.
Yes.
And you was fighting that.
I was fighting that. So therefore you kind of just give up a bit on everything.
Yeah.
And just fit into this mould that you're supposed to be. But then because I wasn't achieving everything I was supposed to achieve,
yes,
it was a conflict the whole time.
The whole thing was a conflict. Great. So I guess really then, when at the point I met you, your life wasn't really working for you, and you had all this stuff going on, and I suppose life was pretty much just an existence and not really a life.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. You functioned, but you didn't actually get anywhere.
Yeah.
And had I kept doing that, I mean, I don't know where I'd have ended up.
Yeah. Well, like everybody else, it doesn't do the work.
Depressed,
Yeah.
miserable.
Blaming the world and
and not achieving anything, probably broke and
the problem is we also beat ourselves up as well. So as well as we beat everyone else up about our environment, we also hard on ourselves, and then we you know, we then turn to drinking and partying all the time.
Which I was doing all the time.
Yeah, because
up till 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, because you're trying to do something to make yourself feel good, because actually you don't feel good naturally in yourself.
No.
And we've sort of normalised that behaviour, which doesn't really work for us. It's
Not
okay
at all.
for a little while, but
not at all.
it's not
It
really.
actually makes you feel worse, because therefore, you're adding to the tiredness. You're adding to the fact you've got no ambition to do anything else, because you're just not present. It's just not good.
Yeah, okay, so the next question I'm going to ask for the viewers is, how did you find out about me? And what made you come to see me?
Well, I first met you through an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of did a bit of socialising together, didn't we? So you kind of in my network of friends. Then you started learning DTO with our mutual friend Jonathan.
With John, yeah, I'll do the podcast with.
And you were learning DTO, weren't you?
Yeah, at the time.
So you needed somebody to practice on, and I volunteered.
Yes.
But it was so effective that I kept coming.
Yeah.
And we use it as I would never have said I had any major traumas or anything in my life, but as we've gone through the process, we've realised there's
loads.
A lot.
Everybody's got lots, but they don't realise that they're traumas. That's
from
the problem.
school or childhood or just beliefs that you've made up in your head. It's a continuous flow of negative stuff coming your way.
Yeah,
and you've got to bat it off, or you just take it all in and then.
Yeah, and also the
react
stuff that
badly.
happens in our environment at home when we're growing up, we don't realise how much of an effect that has, and the negative programming from our parents that we adopt and normalise, that actually doesn't work for us either. So, and I say this, everybody's got all of this stuff, and it's that makes you who you are. So if there's areas in your life that aren't working, fundamentally the reason they're not working is because of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, which is what you've learned.
Absolutely.
Over the last sort of couple of years. And I guess as well, as I've grown doing this, obviously I've got better at what I do and changed the process more. Would you say that now it's more powerful and quicker?
Absolutely. A lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Easier. It's just easier. It's just such a simple process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has definitely got.
Yeah.
You're more of a ninja at it.
More of a ninja at it, yeah. Okay, so what made you come and see me? There must be a reason why. What made you come?
I think it's just because I'd had enough. You just had enough. I'd lost. There was no purpose to life. Like, who was I? I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any aim. So I was just drifting.
Yeah, but had you fallen into the trap of work, kids, sleep, work, kids, sleep?
Basically, yeah, with a bit of partying in there.
In between.
Just to have a bit of.
And you'd had enough of that and wanted to change your life and how you thought and felt. And yeah, great. So before you did come and see me, did you try any other types of therapies or help or personal development? And I know you said earlier on that you thought it was all hippie mumbo jumbo stuff, and people that say that are the people that don't want to do the work. So that's their excuse not to do any work or better themselves. Their instant response will be, well, it doesn't work, it's a load of old nonsense and it's blah blah blah. As we all know, it's not true, but it'll be an excuse for people to not do the work, because, well, by having that excuse it doesn't work means I don't have to do it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so that's why people go, oh, it doesn't work, so it's not for me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine, right? So I hear that from everybody.
I'm all right.
And,
which is what I used to say, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm all right. Nothing much has happened to me.
Yeah, everybody says that, and then I've got one person that said to me, well, there's nothing wrong with me, but I'll give it a go, and now I've been seeing them for 18 months.
Yeah,
right.
So me really though, isn't it?
Yeah, the same thing. A couple of years. So you didn't do anything else, no? I mean, I know you did the reboot thing.
Yeah, I did the reboot, which was the start of the journey.
Yeah.
Because that opens your mind up to things, really the things that I was doing, that I would blame, like the things that were wrong in my life, that I was causing them, rather than I would blame another circumstance or another person. Yeah, an external.
Yeah.
And also to make you aware that there's so many aspects of your life, like your social life, relationships, whether that's romantic, family,
business,
finance, all of that,
yeah,
health. I wasn't paying attention to any of those in particular.
Yeah.
So all of them are falling apart.
Yeah, that's a part. So in that program, we did the 7 wells.
That's it.
So we had the 7 wells, and we have 7 wells in our life. One is home life, one is family, one is career, one is personal development, one is spiritual, and one is health. So they're the 7 wells, and we call it the well-balanced model because most people will put 80, 85, 90% of all of their energy or their day or all their energy and effort into just one well, which generally is money and funds, because everyone's just
money work.
addicted and money work. And so that means that there's only 10% of you left to distribute across the other 6 areas of your life.
Yeah, which are quite often the fun aspects.
Yeah. And that's why people struggle, because they put all of their time, effort and energy into one area of their life and neglect the others.
Yeah.
And by doing that process, and it was a big help for me, because what I then realised that what I was doing was neglecting areas of my life that give me satisfaction, fulfilment and happiness, because I was just work, money and kids. That was it.
Yeah.
And everything else, that life's experience went to the wayside. So that was it was a big learning for me for that.
Yeah.
So that's what you took from that.
Absolutely. So then it makes you realise that there is something that you can do about it. You can change it. You do have to put a bit of work in, but it's not hard and it's not traumatic at all.
No.
So that was.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of a stigma attached to it as well, isn't there? Which is totally
like
wrong.
you're going to have to sit and chat or like be deep about for ages and cry and all the rest of it. Well, you might want to cry, but then that's up to you. But you don't have to go through all dramatic conversations.
No, because I'll suss out exactly what your problem is and I'll find it for you.
And it's about feeling. It's not actually. It's the feeling that situation provokes, isn't it?
Yes.
That you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Not the situation.
Yeah, it's not the situation, it's actually what you've made up about that situation that's the problem. And that defines you.
Yeah.
But that actually that definition of you is actually a lie. It's because you've made it up.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably difficult for people to understand, but once you've done that, once that's gone, you're like, well, why did I even think, act and behave that way? I don't even understand.
Don't understand at all.
But until you do that, you'll always carry on doing that.
So if anybody was not coming to you because they think they've got to sit here and divulge their life stories to you
and their darkest
conversations, you absolutely haven't, have you?
No.
You totally don't. So it's
and
don't be scared.
And the other thing as well is people say, well, I know this ain't wrong, but I don't know what it is, so there's no point in me coming because I can't tell you. Well, I'm going to tell you now that the thing that you think that is the problem isn't the problem, and I will find it. I'll find out what it is.
You just have this natural instinct of
knowing,
I know
what it is,
and I'll come. So we'll do a session because it's kind of ongoing with me, isn't it? So something might happen, and I'll be like, oh, hang on, I'm quite self-aware now.
Yeah.
So it'll be, oh, that's not right. That's made me feel anxious. That's made me feel sad.
Yeah.
Or I've gotten ill. Then we'll do a session, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to connect to what that is and find out what the event was in the past and heal it. And then when you heal the past, now heals with it. So
So a few little questions.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorted.
So okay. So So the next question here I've got is, what made you decide to work with me after the first session, and what did you actually learn?
I think it was because I learned that you can stop the negative thoughts and therefore negative behaviour in such an easy, quick way.
Yeah.
Simple. Why would you not do it?
Yeah.
Also, that you made me feel safe and that I trusted you.
Yeah.
And you just had this knack of, I don't know, just knowing what I was thinking almost.
Yeah.
Without me even saying it.
Yeah.
And it just made it not awkward. It was just quite a free flowing.
Yeah. Were you a bit apprehensive at the start, or did you really just settle into?
I think there's some subjects we've covered, like in relationships, sexual things and stuff like that, which I thought, I don't want to deal with it because it's just going to be so awkward. But it wasn't at all, was it?
Yeah.
In fact, we had quite a laugh about things,
exactly,
and they were all quite similar.
Yeah.
So we discovered that I had a few hang-ups about relationships and intimate relationships, and my role in it, and whether I was good or not or whatever. But actually, everybody thinks it.
Yeah.
I'm not the only person.
No, I'm telling you.
It's all right to think that.
Yeah,
and it's all right to talk about it.
Most people do have that. And like when I have to deal with those delicate issues, there's a pattern of common behaviour, but all of those things are actually not the problem.
No.
So we think that maybe the intimacy is the problem, and it's not. It's a self-worth issue about yourself, or the fact that you can't be authentic to somebody because you're actually lying to them. And that's what causes the problems.
Yeah.
You're lying to them because you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
That's generally what happens. So actually it's not the intimacy problem, it's because you're lying to yourself, or it's something about you. But it's not really the intimacy that's actually the problem. And when you get rid of that problem that you have about yourself, or the thing that's happened in the past in relationships where there might have been some awkward situations, there might have been some abuse, prior to the relationship, whatever. Once that's gone, the intimacy comes back and it's no longer a problem. And actually, when you look back on it, you find it quite funny because you've had this thing for years.
God, yeah. And then it's such a relief when you think, hang on, I'm not the only person thinking this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and the good thing about it is you can fix it.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. So what else did you learn? Because we've also, I know this is a bit of a topic but also there's been times when you've come around and you haven't been feeling so great.
In what way? Like physically?
Yeah. If you're cold or...
Back, cold. Quite often I'm really suffering with stiff hips. And then I'll kind of hobble in, won't I? And like, my back's bad. And I put it down to my job, which maybe some aspect of it is my job. And but then miraculously, by the time I leave here, I jump up off the sofa, don't I? And all laughing and just feel very relaxed.
You've had coughs and colds and we've been able to get rid of them for you as well. So the learning of actually knowing that you're
self-aware of your body as well as your mental state.
And it's our mental state that makes our body be in that way.
In pain or stuck or something. So that's been really eye-opening. Yeah. And then the stomach thing, like I carry quite a lot of anxiety and it's in my stomach, and whilst we're doing the process you can feel your stomach kind of gurgling or like this, I don't know, this sense of, I liken it to like a little dandelion with the little fluffy bits, and then you blow the dandelion and the little bits fly away. The anxiety does that, so it just disperses. So I guess the next question I'm going to ask really is, what's been the 3 benefits that you've experienced since you've been working with me? What's been the main 3 benefits that you've... Main 3? There's been so many, but I would say the main 3 would be, the first one would be I'm so much more self-aware. In
what way?
If something isn't working for me, if something's making me anxious, depressed, annoyed, agitated, anything negative, I can kind of work out what it is, and then I can address it, and then I can stop the feelings, stop that happening. And also, but then if I can't, then I can refer to you.
Yeah, you come see me.
I can come see you, and then you can sort it out for me. So therefore, you kind of got this life that's not full of negative things, thoughts, feelings, which is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
But I also have noticed that it's reflecting out towards my friends. So the more that I'm self-aware for them as well. Well, that's self, is it? I'm aware of their behaviours, if you like, and then you can subtly kind of point it out to them. And see if they want to engage or not. If they do, fine. If not, but the best thing is that I was with a friend over the weekend. She's my most lovely friend, and she was talking to one of our other friends who was having a bit of an emotional, traumatic time because of a relationship. And my friend was relaying all the stuff that I've told her when she's been in a similar situation to try and help the situation with. And it just was lovely to hear her helping somebody else. And then hopefully the girl took the information on board. But it's just that it's the ripple effect, isn't it? So it's that
the stuff that you got off of me, the things that you've learned, that you're now being differently to that person, and that person now unconsciously picking up what you're doing, and then they're relaying it to them.
So therefore it will go out to their family and their friends, and then so it will go on. And so therefore, hopefully, my world's definitely a better place. So that will make her world into a better place, and so on. Yeah,
that's one of the main reasons why I love what I do, because of that. Because I know that as soon as I change and fix one person's life, they instantly have an effect on their immediate friends, family, children, and it changes everybody to be a better person, make the world a better place, in essence.
And then you don't react to the people that don't want to engage, really. You just like, okay.
Don't get on with it. Yeah, so what else? So is there anything else?
I am definitely calmer. I struggled really badly with insomnia. So no sleep, maybe 3 hours max. And then my little brain would like spark up and all these thoughts would fly through them, which was debilitating, especially with the physical job. And trying to keep on top of all the housework and everything else.
So overthinking about everything all the time.
Overthinking all sorts of situations, particularly relationships. You never come to any conclusion. And that just has a big impact on my life. Now I don't. I sleep beautifully. I love going to bed, and I'm much better, more rested. So my life is a lot calmer. My thought process is a lot calmer. That also affects my kids. And then that's probably the third biggest room of improvement is home. Home life is much better. much better. I used to have conflict with my daughter a lot of times, that we would just be arguing together. Yeah, we clashed. We really did clash. Now we don't. She's my best friend, and we just chat through all sorts of things. And same with my son. So we weren't very connected really on. He's a boy in his man cave doing his boy thing, and I'm just mum. Whereas now we have really fascinating, wonderful, deep conversations about all sorts of things, which hopefully helps him in his life and develops his thought processes a bit better. And then with my daughter, we're just getting on beautifully.
So basically, in a way, you've just been able now to hold space for them and be a better parent, even though they're at that age where they want to 18 and 21.
Yeah, they still need parents.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're in now a better place to support them and actually give them what
and I'm
they
enjoying
need.
it. Whereas before, it was kind of like, this sounds bad, but it's like you're a parent, so I'm mum. I used to say I'm mum, I'm Julie. So there were two separate roles. Whereas now it's not that. I'm just Julie. Yeah,
and I think that's why parenting doesn't work because of that.
Yeah. Because you feel like it's something you have to do almost.
Well, the problem is you're lying to yourself, because one minute you're behaving one way, and the next minute you're behaving the opposite to that.
Yeah.
So now you don't know who you really are,
yeah.
and anybody from the outside looking in doesn't now trust you because they don't know who you are. One minute you're saying and being this under this situation, and then you're going to be someone completely different in that situation.
Yeah.
And even though we make that okay, because we always make this shit okay. Well, it's my role. No, it's not a role. You shouldn't really have roles. You should be you.
It should be you. That's exactly.
You should just be you, and so by being you. Allows people then to build on that, because if you're chopping and changing all the time, it's sort of like building a couple of bricks and then the bricks being knocked down and building it and knocking it down, where when you're just being you consistently, it allows to develop and grow, and it's more authentic and more intimate in a way of how your communication is.
Yeah, and more satisfying for yourself as well as everybody else. So there's not that conflict, which is what I spoke about in the beginning, wasn't it? So everything's just that nice, calm. Yeah.
So what is life like for you now?
Life is exciting. I'm going to say I'm just getting pleasure out of things that I normally would not want to be doing, like staying at home.
Yeah.
In on a Saturday night is fine, whereas I used to hate being in on a Saturday night. I'd hate it. I'd look out of the window, think everybody was out there having a fantastic time. Yeah. But now I actually enjoy it.
Actually, everybody's out there poisoning themselves and wasting their money and then bragging about it on Facebook or whatever.
I'm not being with my pyjamas on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that I'm not having a good time, but we've got this.
Happy. I'm just happy. Yeah. I'm happy being me. I'm not going out looking for something. Relationships, for example. If I was single, I'd probably be online, or you're always looking at trying to find a date or a new boyfriend. Or no, I don't care. Now it's going to come to me when I'm having a year out or whatever. I don't care.
Well, funny enough, that's where I've been for the last 4 or 5 years, as you well know.
It will happen when it's meant to happen. It will happen
when it's meant to happen.
Yeah, and that makes me happy, whereas normally that would really... It would screw me
Well, you're always
up.
acting out of desperation.
Yeah, you're not... Yeah, absolutely.
And you're actually needing somebody to come into your life to fulfil you and make you happy.
Yeah.
And really, you should be happy in yourself and doing what you want to do.
Doing what I want to do. So I'm going to now develop all my hobbies, which I've kind of neglected for years. And then business. So I've bought this new business. It's fascinating. I absolutely love it. Yeah. So my wells are filling up fast.
Yeah, great. So life's changed a hell of a lot from...
Yeah, it's still busy, but I can cope with it. I'm not getting stressed about it. Maybe I do sometimes, but each thing comes up, I deal with it rather than perhaps leaving it. I mean, there's stuff that I haven't done, but it's a learning process, and I'm still having treatment for certain things.
Well, I was just going to say, because before you bought that business, you come to me because you didn't know what to do and you had all this self-doubt. And then once I got into your beliefs and in your mind of the why, the what, the how, what for, what do you want from it, what's your fears, and switched all of them off, you just went...
And then did it.
You went and done it. All the blocks of taking that decision. Yeah. You did it. And not only that, you fully immersed yourself in it. And I know that it's been quite a few months has been difficult because there's so many plants, you've got to find somewhere to store them. Yeah, but now you've got that. Yeah. And then the universe has brought exactly...
the perfect place. So the place could not be any more perfect. Yeah. Honestly, it's incredible. If your mind is open to the universe and all the things, it just rewards you.
You do have to do the work to get rid of all of the doubts, the fears and the negative limiting beliefs for it to work. But when you do... things automatically. And I said to you, didn't I? I did say to you at the time.
You did
say to you at the time, I said, look, don't worry about it now. I'll guarantee you, that the exact place will present itself at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
And it did, didn't it?
Well, we had about a week deadline, so we
Yeah.
had to be out of the other place.
Yeah.
And it was just absolute chaos, but I did it.
I told you it happened.
Pulled it out of the bag.
I know, I said, but I did say, just you got to just get, because you've done the work and fixed and healed all of your beliefs around it. This place that we live in will provide it, and I did say that's what would happen, and exactly that's what's happened. So and I'm really happy for you as well.
The more you believe in that, or the more you allow that to happen, the more it happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You get more of. That's like the whole saying, money goes to money. People who've got money get more money.
Well,
that's basically sort of, in essence, you can apply that to everything in life. You get more of what you've already got. So that's great. So I guess now, what surprised you the most and what's made you the happiest? So what surprised you the most out of the work we've done, and ultimately what's made you really happy in doing that?
What surprised me the most, I think it would be how easy this is.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
There's no trickery, there's no, like I said earlier, deeper meaningfuls. It simply is, what's the feeling, the negative feeling.
What's the event, what's the feeling?
It was this, okay, shut your eyes.
Yeah.
Mutter these 3 words.
Yeah. Go back, fix
gone.
it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
You literally, one example I use is, we did that about me taking our dog.
Yes.
To the rehoming centre. Oh my God, every time I thought about it, it made me cry. Now I think about it and I don't.
Yeah.
And it's just because you can't actually think about it. It's not in my head.
Yeah.
So it's just gone.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I know. And but it's unfortunate, a lot of people get attached to these negative feelings and thinking they need to hold on to them, they own them because that's who they are, and it's wrong to get them because it makes them who they are. Actually, it doesn't. It actually just destroys your life. And all of those negative feelings of guilt and shame and crying and feeling upset are actually things that you need to heal. And if you're doing that, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And people seem to think that getting rid of them is a crime.
Yeah, you should feel guilty.
You should feel like no. All you're basically doing is storing the negative thoughts and feelings about the event, not the positive ones.
Yeah.
So when you get rid of the negative ones, all of a sudden that whole event changes its complexity and your perception of it. It no longer affects you in a negative way.
Not at all. You mean you can still think about it, but you can't think of the negative thoughts that were attached to it.
Yeah.
And so we did that maybe in 40 minutes.
Yeah, about 40 minutes, yeah.
So I've been tearful and felt so much guilt about that for years.
Yeah.
So that's just a simple example.
Yeah. And we get rid of that really quick. Then what's made you the happiest?
Peace of mind, I think. Peace of mind. I've
Yeah.
got more clarity of thought and just feel more relaxed, which is great.
You're like in control of your life, in control of your decisions, and
most of the time, and at peace.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 more questions to ask, and maybe a little chat at the end. But in 3 words, how would you describe this whole experience working with me? Well, how would you describe it?
In 3 words,
I
would say it is absolutely, amazingly life-changing.
Yeah. That's it. Amazingly life-changing.
Yeah.
Great. It is.
It is, absolutely.
It is. I'm not going to argue with it. It's actually life-changing.
there's so many words you could use.
Yeah.
But that's the end result.
Yeah. Do you sometimes sit and think, how does this work, and how, and can't get your head around it, or?
I think the hardest thing is trying to explain to other people what it is, because everybody likes to know.
Well, they need to understand.
They need to understand what it is, and you're just, it's really hard to describe. Just trust me and go and have a try.
There was a guy recently who said to me this. He said, see this box. He said, if I put £10 in, 10 of your pounds in here, and £50 come out the other side, do you care what's going on inside that box?
No, you just want the 50 quid.
Exactly, and that's the best way to explain it. You don't need to know.
Good enough.
If you can put a £10 in there and get a £50 out the other side, do you need to understand what's going in the box, or do you just want the 50 quid? And that's the same with this, pretty much. And it's a great analogy, and I've said to him I'm gonna claim it. So Mike's an amazing guy, actually. So great. So if you were going to recommend a friend, what would you say? Or anybody that's watching?
I would say stop being frustrating and come and give Steve a call.
Yeah.
And why would you not do this? Why would you not do DTO?
Yeah.
It's so simple. I keep saying this. It's so simple. It's so effective. Why would you live a miserable life with anxiety, depression, any of it, when you don't have to?
Yeah, being stuck in miserable relationships.
It's pointless. It's actually pointless and dumb.
Yeah, I said it to my friend yesterday. It seems to be like we've, or was it you when you come in? I said, it seems to me that people have made toxic behaviour, negativity, and being a victim fashionable. It's fashionable.
So
it's fashionable. It's fashionable now to have that, and getting rid of it's a crime. And I need to be on Facebook moaning and complaining and whinging and asking for all this stuff when actually your personal life experience isn't great, and everybody else around you isn't great, because people around you don't really like that. They might be there, but they actually don't really like it because you're having a negative effect on them. And it's like fashionable to keep that. It seems to be fashionable to not be healthy, or not be or not be happy within yourself. And I just find it fascinating that why, like you said, why aren't more people doing it? But I suppose, you know, there's a whole host of reasons why. So
isn't there? But I think, trust me, I'm a mum. I'm a gardener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just trust me, it works.
Yeah. And your life's changed massively because of it.
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely,
great.
Without doubt. I wouldn't be here, would I, if I hadn't thought that this was worth coming here and sitting talking to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely wouldn't do it.
No. So is there anything else that you want to talk about, really, before we finish? Is there anything about what we do, what you want to say about what you do, or...?
I don't think there is. No.
I think you've covered everything.
I think I have covered everything. I suppose...
I'll tell you, there was one thing I did want to mention. Julie said to me some time ago that... So myself and John, as you well know, we've got 63 podcasts on YouTube. And it's fascinating because quite often you've said to me that when there's been some times when you've had your headphones on at work or something's come up in your life and you go to our podcast and you always get the answer.
There's always one podcast that gives me the answer and you're like, oh yeah. And then that's it, the worry's gone.
Yeah.
Just simply by listening to
the
conversation that you two have.
Yeah.
So I recommend the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. I mean, we stopped doing them now temporarily because we've covered everything, and it was just like we was repeating ourselves. And so, but yeah, so the podcasts have been a real tool for you to help you when you're actually in the moments, to give you an understanding of why, if you need to understand. Yeah. Great.
I think the only thing I would say is that you don't have to live a life that's full of depression, anxiety, stress, trauma. Yeah. Any of that, you absolutely don't. So why do?
And I'm not going to bite their head off either.
No, he's lovely. He really is.
Okay, well, thanks. Oh, yeah, you're lovely too. Right. Okay. So I suppose we're all going to finish up now. So I just want to say, Julie, thanks ever so much for talking about, the journey. And I don't know, it's sort of like a big thing for you. Not the sort of thing that you've ever done before, really, is it? So well done to Julie for being brave enough to do that, and and giving up her time to share her experiences to try and influence you and inspire you to become the best version of yourself, or fix those problems that you've had in your past, or why you can't do something in your life. So I just want to say thanks again, Julie. So, you going to say? No. So I'm going to call that a day now for this particular video. You can find out more information on my website, which is healingthemind.co.uk, or you can private message me. Please sure, if you're looking for my podcast, go to the YouTube channel, which is the Inside Out Effect with Stephen and Jonathan. But again, thanks ever so much again for watching, tripping over myself there. And until the next video, I bid you farewell, and thanks again. Bye.